Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Helgerson. I'm a Denver resident. I've been here about 15 years. I live in the Barnum neighborhood in West Denver. I am speaking to you tonight, and I would like to come out against the bond package in its current form due to its lack of safety improvements for cycling and walking infrastructure. Looking through this, it appears that there is basically none, despite the earlier statement to the contrary. And in fact, a lot of these seem to be repaving projects and projects that are designed to move more cars and move them faster, as well as projects, for instance, like the Park Hill Golf Course conversion that I'm confused as to how it was recommended, given that the city didn't even own the land until about a month ago. Given all that, I wanted to share a quick personal anecdote about why this kind of infrastructure investment is important. So last week, my wife and I were eating dinner at a local restaurant and unfortunately got to watch a cyclist in an unprotected cycle lane be run over by a pickup and drug approximately 20 foot down the road. So she and I ran out and tried to help him as much as possible. I am hopeful that he is still with us and making a recovery, but I am not aware. But I wanted to make the point that I very much doubt that his priority as a constituent of all of yours was to replace bridges. I would guess that he would have preferred protected bike infrastructure that was promised to my neighborhood and many others years ago in bond issues and has still not been delivered. Given that, I think that it is at best a bad look to vote to advance a package like this that not only does not promote safe methods outside of a car, but in fact makes it more dangerous for those of us who cannot or choose not to commute or travel by biking, walking, or skateboarding. Given that, I just wanted to register my dissent from this, and I will yield the rest of my time to other speakers to hopefully allow more.
Thank you. Nick.
Hi, my name's Jessica. I live in the Barnum neighborhood, and it was mentioned earlier that I was the one who watched the cyclist get hit by a truck and dragged 20 feet. So finding out that there was going to be money taken away from the safety of other cyclists was very hard to find out after having to witness this. I hope the person that was hit is okay. I know they are going to be mentally and possibly physically affected by this for the rest of their life, as I know I am going to be mentally affected by this, of having to witness something so traumatic. So I just really hope it's taken into consideration, biker safety, pedestrian, anyone, because it's absolutely ridiculous that people are, it's like less humane to treat people who want to cycle, who want to scooter, who want to walk, and to get around the city. So I hope it's really taken into consideration the safety that is needed to be continued for us to feel safe and others when biking and commuting around the city of Denver.
Council members, my name is Rebecca Perez. I live in City Park West off of Colfax and Vine. I'm a little nervous.
You're good. Take your time.
So I may just quiver just because I'm nervous. I wanted to share my disappointment in the scope of the transportation projects recommended for the GO bond and to urge City Council to replace the 6th and 8th Avenue bridge repair projects on this list with safety improvements for the 13th and 14th Avenues and the Broadway Bikeway project. Transportation is critical to Denver's vitality, yet the current list doesn't reflect the bold projects needed to meet the climate, health, and safety goals that would ultimately make a difference in Denver's vibrancy. Deferred maintenance and street repaving should be funded through alternative funding sources rather than bonding. Additionally, we should not take out debt to repair the bridges at 6th and 8th Avenues, which do not present an immediate safety issue and are not a community priority. This is especially true when compared to community requested projects like safety improvements for 13th and 14th Avenues. These are dangerous streets on which a disproportionately high number of traffic fatalities and serious injuries occur. I'm going to a bike vigil tomorrow for a bicyclist that was killed tomorrow, and there was also one last week, and I don't want to see any more of my friends killed. Denver residents should not pay for projects benefiting the billionaires who owns the Broncos while ignoring transportation projects that the community has asked for. Another project we've asked for is the completion of the north segment of the Broadway Bikeway, which will solidify Broadway as a safe, convenient route for biking into and out of downtown. I would significantly enhance connectivity for people walking and taking transit. More high-quality bikeways like this would provide viable transportation choices and support our climate and health goals. Since no bike projects are being recommended currently, despite campaign promises from Mayor Mike Johnston to complete the Denver Moves Everyone Bikes network, the Broadway Bikeway is the least that can be done to work towards addressing systemic biking barriers. Both of these projects are essential to advancing Vision Zero and expanding Denver's multimodal transportation network. They will help reduce car dependency, improve safety, and fight climate change. Without projects like these, the bond is more stagnant than vibrant. Please recommend the safety improvements for 13th and 14th Avenues and the Broadway Bikeway to the ballot instead of the 6th Avenue and the 8th. Bridge repairs to ensure we make the best use of the funds provided by this general obligation fund. Thank you.
Thank you. Nick.
Sorry about that, I didn't hear my name.
No problem. Go ahead.
So my name is Rachel. I live in Capitol Hill, D10, one of the best neighborhoods in the city to live in without a car. In fact, I sold my car 2 years ago, and I get around primarily by bike, occasionally RTD when it shows up on time. I am just here to say that I'm really disappointed by the lack of bike and pedestrian projects in this bond proposal. But first, let me just back up a little. I made this choice, the choice to ride a bike instead of drive a car, for my health, for my bank account, and for the planet. And it can be really lovely to bike around the city when going through areas with good infrastructure. For example, the Cherry Creek Trail is fantastic as a bicycle highway, and parts of 13th and 14th with the protected bike lanes feel really comfortable. I can get to where I need to go without feeling worried for my safety. When I get to spots that don't have good infrastructure though, like 13th and 14th Avenues east of Sherman, or crossing streets like Colfax, Lincoln, Broadway, it can feel like life or death. I'm always hyper aware of the danger posed by cars, aware of how many cyclists have been killed on Denver roads, and I really try to avoid those routes when I can, but the bike network in Denver is disconnected, and these kinds of areas are not always avoidable when trying to get from A to B. I have quite a few friends who are less experienced on bikes and would like to get out there more, but they just don't feel safe. I recently noticed an ad campaign from the city-funded Denver Climate Project. It seems to be trying to scold people into making choices that are better for the environment. And to be honest, I'm kind of baffled by this tactic. I see ads around the city saying things like feet over fossil fuels and a step-by-step guide to saving the planet. Hint, it's called walking. And considering the power that you have to shape what transportation looks like in the city, I really don't get this. Do you know what would work to get people out of their cars and onto their feet or bikes? Safe bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. A pedestrian was just killed in Hamden on Friday, and a cyclist was killed a week ago today at 30th and Tejon, where a protected bike lane had been proposed and never built. 20 cyclists and pedestrians were killed on Denver roads so far just this year, and you are shaming people for not biking and walking more? If we want more people to get out of their cars and choose walking or cycling, we need to invest in the kind of projects that will make it safer and more accessible for the average person. Not everyone is confident riding in car traffic, and rightly so, just look at the news. All this to say, I'm pretty disappointed in this bond proposal, and I would not vote in favor for it in its current form. I really hope you reconsider. Thank you for your time.
Hey, Council. Good afternoon, Council members. I'm Sam Schooler, a Denver resident for my entire adult life, and a member of District 3 speaking about the proposed GO bond transportation projects. I'm disappointed in the current project scope and urge you to replace the 6th and 8th Avenue bridges repairs with projects including pedestrian and bike safety improvements for 13th and 14th Avenue and Broadway Bikeway project. The mayor talked about building 38 miles of new bike lanes between this year and next year and putting feet on the streets. Yet these projects, which do exactly that, included while bridge repairs are prioritized. 38th Avenue is getting a reconstruction because it's part of the high injury network, the same network that includes 13th, 14th, and Broadway, which disproportionately high numbers of traffic fatalities occur. The 6th and 8th Avenue bridges may be a top 5 most dangerous bridge, but that means they should have been reprioritized in regular infrastructure budgets, not funded through bonds meant for transformative projects. We shouldn't pay for projects benefiting the mayor's weekly conversations with sports owners while ignoring community requested safety improvements that benefit everyone, pedestrians, cyclists, drivers alike, through clearer traffic patterns and reduced conflicts. We've seen the deadly consequences of delayed bike infrastructure for business concerns. I went back and looked at the feedback meetings for Tejon Protected Bike Lane. It was planned in 2021, but stalled after feedback from a few select businesses who demanded more parking and loading zones. The city gave them everything they asked for, added parking, created loading zones, and stalled the bike lane project. Even with the best case scenario for these businesses, both of them moved away. A cyclist died at Tejon and 38th, the very same corridor which we sacrificed safe infrastructure for businesses and left regardless. This same phenomenon is happening across our city countless of times a year. A Safe Streets project is proposed, a handful of businesses and residents complain about parking and loading, and a project gets watered down, stalled, or even canceled. I'm not asking for myself. I already bike regardless, but I'm tired of hearing friends and neighbors say they want to bike but are scared because they've heard about crashes or don't feel safe or get in one themselves. Safe infrastructure gives people real transportation choices, especially for neighbors who cannot afford to drive. This is also an equity issue. These projects advance Vision Zero, expand multimodal transportation, they reduce car dependency, improve safety for all road users. Please recommend 13th and 14th Avenue safety projects and the Broadway bike lane instead of bridge repairs to maximize this bond impact. Thank you.
Thank you.